Newark to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Ebro without Laura and Rosenberg. They're on assignment. I had to catch up with Mayor Ras Baraka, who just had a visit from the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Still making sure that lead pipe initiative he had going on in Newark, New Jersey, as well as everything with COVID. Mayor Ras Baraka of Newark, New Jersey today. How are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. Good to be on.
Yo, you on your way to the office?
Yeah, on my way. Just dropped my son off to school on my way to office.
Yeah, look at I like this type of call. This feels official. How was the visit with Kamala Harris in Newark? It looked like she came to just, obviously it's a big moment for the city. You started several years ago making sure that homeowners were held accountable for changing out lead pipes. Where are things today?
Well, the city actually changed every lead service line in the city, 23,000 lead service lines in less than 3 years. We did it ourselves, no cost to the taxpayer. And the vice president came really to talk about the infrastructure bill that was passed and them removing lead service lines and all of the money they're going to put on a table to municipalities to get this done. We obviously can't benefit from it because we already did ours, but just to tout the work that we did in Newark. So we appreciated her visit.
Now, when I last had you on about lead pipes, there's still the pipes that go from the city service line into the homes that are on the homeowners to change, correct?
Yeah, but we changed it. The city changed them. So
you guys went ahead and put up the money for that?
Yep. We did the whole thing. And that's really what the issue is nationally. A lot of folks don't have the money or like the infrastructure together to be able to change all of those lead service lines like that. And some of the water systems are owned privately as well by private companies. And, I don't know how they're going to get around that, but ultimately all of it needs to be changed and folks need the capital up front.
Now, COVID, you've been very, I guess you've held the line despite some blowback with regard to mask mandates and making sure the city is safe. How are things in Newark right now with COVID?
We're looking pretty good by the grace of God, man. Our numbers dropped back down to where they were prior to this Omicron variant picking up. So we are at that level now. We are trying to stabilize at this point. We are actually lower than the rest of the state. So we want to continue to go that way.
You have also, you grew up in Newark, New Jersey. You have a lot of deep relationships in the community. You make it your work to stay on the front lines of dealing with young people, keeping young people out of trouble, addressing gangs and other things in the city. What's the temperature like in Newark these days?
It's rough. Like the rest of the country, I just had a conversation with about 65 young people from different schools, on a Zoom. And, they basically were saying the things that people think, but in real time, depression, isolation, issues of dealing with things by themselves and missed 2 whole years of school. You was once in the 9th grade. Now you come back to school with an 11th grader. That's just a huge jump. Missing all of the things that we took for granted, after school programs, sports, guidance counselors, and it's affecting these kids' behavior and other things. So we had an uptick in violence last year, the end of the year, with young people mostly, man. And we have been meeting recently, juvenile task force, everybody coming together trying to figure out what we need to do for these young folks, man. Because if it don't get better, it's going to get worse soon.
Now, is there something, in my position, something we can do as the media to support your efforts? What do you need from us?
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's been this whole talk about drill music, right? And, but there's also has to be the opposite side of all of this stuff. So we can't just have this movement against something. We have to have a movement for something, right? So we need to be able to we have to start highlighting young people that are making it through the odds, doing difficult things, being creative.
Incentivize other things, incentivize right. Positive things.
That's what we have to do it, man. These kids, then that's what they said, that's what we have to do. Give attention to kids that are out here, succeeding in the same streets that people talk about are so rough and so terrible. But these kids are doing incredible things. They're being creative and doing all type of stuff. We need to be able to push them, advance them, whether it's artistically or whatever it is that they up to and doing. And we're going to try to do that here locally, but it'd be great, some of the media outlets begin to push those kinds of things as well.
I would love those. You guys have your team, your comms team, share those stories with us.
Absolutely,
we'll make that
man.
a part of our reports for sure.
Absolutely.
And even the music too. If there's artists that you guys are seeing, because I feel like there's artists who are definitely doing work in their community, definitely doing work to help people. And they're not celebrated by I call it the algorithm, right? Instagram and YouTube, they're not getting the views because it doesn't have all of the debaucherous lowest common denominator behaviors. They try and do something positive, so it doesn't get celebrated enough. And we need to do a better job, me included, of making sure those people get celebrated. Mayor, you there?
I'm here. I mean, you.
Okay.
It blacked for a minute. Yep. I didn't hear the last thing you said.
No, I was just saying, making sure those people get celebrated that are doing work in the community, uplifting people.
Yes, sir. Yep. We definitely need to do that without a shadow of a doubt. And they asking for it. And they also said they want to hear from us and, have an audience and talk and talk through these difficult moments. So that's why I did that. I'm going to continue to do it because they need to be heard right now.
There it is. Mayor Ras Baraka, other than obviously those big issues that are on the forefront, talk to us about what's coming your way with regard to the recreational marijuana, health and wellness, and all of the business that's potentially coming to Newark and downtown Newark.
Yeah, I mean, the state is giving out these certifications now, these licenses for cannabis, and in cities like Newark, we're going to be obviously hosting a lot of those businesses, and we're going to start training a lot of people in this neighborhood how to deal with businesses that support the cannabis industry, not just
that's right
cannabis, but all of the businesses, the ancillary, auxiliary businesses that exist around that. So we want to support those efforts and put that out and make people do that. The problem in New Jersey is, there's no Black people who've been given a license, no African Americans have been given a license yet. So we have to put pressure on these guys.
I was a part of, they haven't given out any recreational licenses at all yet. Right. The licenses that they have given out are the medicinal licenses where they just gave out a bunch more. But I was told that to get a medicinal license, you have to be licensed in the medical prescription business, which there's very few African Americans in that business nationally. Right.
That's true. That's very true. And, I think it's something that we need to begin to talk about, though, and figure out how to create opportunities for folks, even if it's training or other kind of certifications to get people there. Because you create one problem exists, another one comes out as a result of it. We need to be able to address it all.
You're working on an Audible book right now. You have your poetry, you've made music before. And now this Audible book is being released as well. I wanted to make sure we covered that today. Can you give us some more insight on that?
Yeah, the Book of Baraka, Audible approached us and was like, listen, this is a great idea in JPAC, Georgia Performing Arts Center, in conjunction with them. We put this together. It is really a conversation with me and Jelani Cobb, talking about my life in Newark, growing up at Howard University, growing up in a family of Amiri and Amina Baraka, during the Reagan era and all this, and how I got into activism, went from, activism, music, poetry to elected official, how that transformation happened.
The shout to Audible, who's doing a lot of great work out here too. They're the leading creator and provider of premium audio storytelling, and it's your Baraka's original Audible, the Book of Baraka, dropping February 24th on Audible as the 40th mayor of the city of New York. Now, do you have a relationship with Mayor Eric Adams? And are you guys talking about the common issues with youth between the two cities?
I do. I mean, I've known Eric since Amadou Diallo, brother. And and all of those cases that took place then. You know, he was a police officer, 100 blacks in law enforcement or something. We had a similar organization in Newark. I was just a young activist then. And so I knew him since those times, and we still talk presently. You know, we just hung out maybe a week ago. So, and we definitely talk about the issues that affect both of our cities.
You and I have had conversations. I saw you in Ghana a few years ago. It's always great to see you when
Yes, sir.
especially back in Africa. And we talked about, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, that the black mayors of the many black mayors of the cities in the United States, you guys all have a relationship.
Yeah, we do for the most part. We have an organization, African American Mayors Association, national, and most of us, you know, stay in touch, talk to each other, you know, make sure we talk about issues that are affecting us because they all similar.
Right. As far as the public school system and it addressing young black kids and their needs, I used to work in the school system. How do you see things today?
Well, I think now it's a little bit even more difficult than it was. I mean, with COVID and the gap in terms of missing school time is tremendous, and so it means that the work that we're going to have to do has to be expedited and lifted, right? So all hands have to be on deck with this, you know, to make sure, you know, our young people get the attention, the service that they need after school, before school, summertime. We're gonna have to talk about doing some creative things that just wasn't done before. We can't go back to doing what we've been doing. Like kids got back in school, they started testing them immediately, which is ridiculous to me. We have to begin to start figuring out how to fill these gaps and support these kids and move them faster through this stuff. And it's going to take everybody to do that. And then this fight, you know, that folks are having trying to prevent us from teaching history in school just compounds the issue. You know, I mean, it's not as bad in New Jersey as it is in other places, but you know, this is a part of this environment these young people are in right now.
Mm. Mayor Ras Baraka, always thank you for your time, y'all. Make sure you go listen to the story of how our friend Ras Baraka became the mayor you see today through activism and being a teacher. I always remind people he's on that Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album. He's the teacher on that album. And, you know, he's just always been available and active and ready to do the work. And we appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.